Good morning, guys. So I mentioned that for our next project, we're going to be doing a color and emotion self-portrait. So I just want to talk about some of the details of the project. I'm sure we're all familiar with what a portrait is. It's any type of artwork that's created to look like a person. So probably the most well-known, most recognizable portrait we see here, the Mona Lisa. Now this one is going to be a self-portrait. So you guys are going to be creating an image of yourself, and this is something that artists have been doing forever, really. This is a self-portrait created by Vincent van Gogh. So most artists have created some type of self-portrait. This will give you an idea of what our projects will eventually look like in the end, right? You're going to be posing as an emotion, and we're going to break down you into 5 different value areas, and then you're just going to pick out one single color that you think represents that emotion, just like what we were practicing, to paint yourself in. And then the background is going to be done just in gray. So obviously with that, the elements of color is going to be really important, and color is an extremely expressive element, like we see here in Picasso's work from his blue period, which was a time in his life when he was obviously really sad, which I'm sure you could pick up by looking at the image. But color can represent all different types of emotions. And that's exactly what we practiced yesterday, right? Now, these projects are going to be what we consider monochromatic. So mono meaning one, chromatic meaning color. Again, you're going to pick out one single color and then just use different values, how light or dark it is, to create your self-portrait image. And this is something that we see done in the art world all the time. So obviously with that, the element of value is going to be extremely important for us, and our ability to control it is really important as well. So if we were going to take a black and white look at your self-portrait when you get done, that's how we are able to tell the difference between those different shapes, because we can see all these shapes are all orange. They're just different values of orange, how light or dark it is. So a new term that we haven't used yet is called emphasis, and this is a principle. And it's pretty similar to how you would normally use this term. If somebody says, I really want to emphasize to you, whatever they say next, they want to put more importance on. So that's the same thing when it comes to art. If there's more emphasis on one area of the artwork, your eyes are going to be drawn there. Now, if it's a single location, we call that a focal point. Right? Not every artwork is going to have a focal point, but usually they're going to emphasize something. Right? This is an example of an artwork that has a specific focal point. So obviously we're looking at the whole created by the dandelions. This is a photographer named Andy Goldsworthy who creates these images out in nature and then photographs them. So this one has a really clear focal point. Ours is not necessarily going to have a focal point, but all of our emphasis is going to be placed on you, and we really want you to pop out compared to that background, okay? And that's going to be created by another principle, which we call contrast. So number one, you're going to contrast with the background, stand out from that. And then we also need to make sure that we have enough contrast or enough of a difference between the value, how light or dark, each one of those little shapes are. Because if the value is too similar, we're not going to be able to see the difference in those shapes, and then it's not going to look like you, it's not going to look like your emotion, and it's probably not going to look like a person either. So obviously that's going to be really important for us. So one of the first steps that we're going to do once we take a look at the app we're going to be using is simplifying this down into organic shapes. Remember, organic shapes are curving, irregular, just like our faces. So one of our first steps is we're going to take that photo, we're going to load that into that Sketches School app, which we'll be talking about, and then eventually simplifying those shapes and attaching a value of whatever color you want to represent your emotion. Right? Now, we would usually do this as a painting. Obviously, we're not doing that. So this is, yes, a photo of me, an older photo. You're going to take that picture, and for today, I just want you to attach that into the assignment on Google Classroom. Okay, so a couple things with the photo. Make sure that you can see your entire head. You got to see the top of your head, the bottom of your chin. If you do want to include your hands, like you see here, make sure that they're right up next to your face. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to see enough of your face if they're way off to the sides, because we'll have to zoom out. So make sure that they are right up next to your face, okay? We are not using any effects or anything like that, so just a normal photograph. And when you're finished, attach that into the project and turn that in, okay? And then we'll take a look at the app and how we're going to be simplifying this photograph in the next few days. Okay, any questions, make sure you send me an email, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.